We are live on English TV Live. A very happy Thursday to everyone. I hope the sound is okay. Is the sound okay? Can you hear it okay? Because I can hear my family and I can Arthur left so many questions at the same time. Can everybody more from the present perfect? Okay, so is the sound okay? Can I just get a yes from anybody there? Can you hear me okay? Because I can hear the water system of my parents' house just making so much noise in my ears. Am I still hungover? Do I look hungover? A little bit. Hi Trudy, Sergio, Jun Young. Who else is here? Arthur Left is here. Lloyd, of course, is here. Trudy, I hope this will be educational and helpful. I'm very, very curious about how the present perfect works in Dutch and why it's different. Not sure if I have so much time. Alright, so today we have more present perfect stuff, and today was a very fun day for me today because a couple of years ago I used to work in a language school in Dublin. I worked in 2 language schools, but there was one summer when I decided to become basically a grammar expert. I decided to reduce the amount of hours I worked every week. I worked only 15 hours, not 20 or 30 or whatever, to work on my own materials and become like a grammar expert, you know. So every morning I had the routine where I would wake up, I would exercise, have breakfast, and I would spend 2-3 hours like running, creating new materials. I tried to create, sounds good, maybe in my mic back, but I remember I tried to make 80% of the class my own materials when I was working, hello Fikri, working in the school. And today I was a little bit late for my class here because I was just running to finish all of my I have a very cool speaking activity today in the Zoom classes. We're going to do a have you ever kind of fun kind of conversation activity, and we have a quiz as well. So I was running to finish both of them. And here we are. Tupinas, you're here? Okay. There's no noise, Arthur. Good, yeah, because I get paranoid about the noise. But okay, I don't have so much time because, as always, I have a lot to talk about. I'm very sorry I didn't post the slides last week, so I'm going to post both files together directly after this class. I promise I won't forget, Trudy, okay? How have you been doing today? So, let's get into it. Oh, wait a second now. I need to. So let me just open up my presentation. Just 1 second, guys. Technology is here, coming. How have you guys been doing? So what have productive day, Victoria? Olga, hello. Maria Teresa Sperduti, hope that's the correct pronunciation. Arthur Left, Arthur, great name you have, Arthur Left. I always think of the same, like, oh, where did he go? The same stupid joke. All right, so let's get started on our presentation. Let's see here, present, let's see. All right, okay. Yeah, I will be doing a speaking class at 4:30. It's going to be very fun. We have a quiz with find the mistake. So you'll have phrases where you're going to have to look at the phrase and identify the mistake, some true or false, and then a speaking activity. But I don't know if you saw the small video I made this morning. I made a small video for Lloyd and I. Is about now we are going to look at the present perfect again next week in more detail in some other things, because I think in total we have about 10, 12, 13 different kinds of phrases or almost ideas we could express with the present perfect. There are more complex ideas. I am recognizing that. But what I do want to say to the absolute fundamentals are how long have you and have you ever, right? That was a little video I made this morning for Lloyd. We made a little story, Facebook story. But the 2 fundamental points are that, because yes, there are more complicated ideas that we are going to see in the next few weeks about it has a result in the present and what's the difference between I have been doing it and I have done it. I'm not saying those differences don't exist, but I am saying focus truly on the fundamentals. Like, what are the fundamentally two ways we use the present perfect, and most importantly of all, the two most important ways people make mistakes in the present perfect. Now, the first one was last week. Something started in the past and continues now. And now this week is more about an experience in the past. So let's get into it. Present perfect, to talk about our experiences. It's part of human nature to compare experiences with each other as human beings. It's just normal. We're just constantly asking about it, you know. Have you tried sushi? Have you ever tried Mexican food? Have you ever seen some movie, right? If you're talking about TV or what you watch, or like, do you have Netflix? Yes, I have Netflix. Oh, have you ever seen this series? Or have you ever heard of and the name of an artist or a person? So my question is, have you ever heard of Elon Musk? Elon Musk. Some people call him the real Iron Man, but this is a question here as in, like, have you ever heard of? Now, let's go into this in a little bit more detail. The focus is on the experience, not the specific moment or time the thing happened. It's almost like, if I ask you, let's go back to one of the questions. Let's think about a movie. Like Titanic is probably the most common movie we have, right? And I ask you, have you ever seen Titanic? My question really is, from the point you were born until now. So I'm not sure, so I'm asking if it happened, yes or no. I just want to establish, yes or no, did you have this experience, right? Have you ever, right? That's the logic of my question. And my focus is on yes or no, the experience, but at this moment, I'm not interested, or I don't know when it happened, or the specific moment or the time that this thing happened, all right? So where's our focus? On the experience itself. Between the moment you were born and now, when I ask you a have you ever question, I want to understand yes or no, have you had this experience or not? Okay, that's what the native speaker is asking when they ask a have you ever, right? And some like places you have visited, right? Have you ever been to wherever? Have you ever been to Amsterdam? Have you ever been to just checking. Okay, yeah, I'll take questions at the end. I can't focus on both things, right? So places you have visited, foods you have tried, movies you have seen, people you have met, right? I mean, my big claim to fame is Janet Jackson. I was working in a hotel, and she called the restaurant for the room service, and I spoke to Janet Jackson when I was working there, you know? So I have spoken to Janet Jackson in my life, right? Oops, there's a bit of... So when the answer is yes, to respond in the affirmative, okay, sort of, let's say, for example, the question is, have you ever been to London? Actually, that's my question for the group, for all of you. Most of us are in Europe. Have you ever been to London? Yes or no? Have you ever been to London? I've been to London. I've been to London. Yes, I have been to London. Okay, one way to say it. Or have you ever tried Mexican food? Right? Or yes, I have seen this movie. Or yes, I have tried Mexican food. Right? Yes, I have heard of Elon Musk. This is when you want to answer in the affirmative, in the positive. Right? I have been there. That have and the past participle. Right? When the answer is no, you can say, I have never tried it. Sorry, but no, that should be in, sorry, the previous one, I never tried it. Now, what we want to really look here about the two differences here, about I have never tried it and I never tried it. Because this is where students have mistakes when they want to respond in the negative or the affirmative to a have you ever question. So I'm asking you, have you ever tried Mexican food? Have you ever been to London? Now we have two possible answers. Now sorry, let me be clear. The correct answer to a have you ever is I have never. Right? You answer with the same present perfect. I never tried it. Now this exists, but it's a different context. Okay. All right. These are some right. Okay. So for example here, I have never tried it means I have never had this experience until now, but maybe one day. right? When I have the example here of, have you ever tried surfing when in Australia, right? But if we just compare here, I have never tried it, and I never tried it when I lived there. It's a more specific period. But let me give you a bit more context. Let's imagine two different situations, right? In one situation, you're just talking about experiences with a friend or a colleague, right? You can just like, have you ever been to this place? Have you ever tried this food? But the grammar can change in the second situation when you start talking about a more specific time period in the past. Okay, now let's give this some context and let's go very slowly and really explain that. Let's take surfing, for example. Has anybody in the group ever tried surfing? Has anybody, you've been to London Street in Peru? Close enough, Arthur, close enough, right? Has anybody ever tried surfing? But we've imagined like two different situations where I have never tried surfing, as in I am in Ireland now and just in general in my life until now, I have never tried surfing. But another answer here is for another situation. I never tried surfing when I lived in Australia 3 years ago. Okay, so I lived in Australia for 3 years, but I never tried surfing. This is not true. I have never been to Australia, right? I've never been there. I've never had that experience until now. I'm still alive and it's still possible. I could go there. I want to go there one day, but I have never been there. So this is fictional. If we say I lived in Australia for 3 years, but I never tried surfing, it's the idea that this time here between 2015 and 2018, that specific time period, because now we know when, and for example, like 2015, 2018, it's finished and it's over. You can never live those years again, so you must use the past simple, right? Because of that kind of time. Is you could respond, I lived in Australia for 3 years, but I never tried surfing. So during that specific period, and 2020 is of course now. Now let's imagine a completely different situation where the person says, I have lived in Australia for 3 years, but I have never tried surfing. In this context, you can say started living in Australia, continue living in Australia now, as in 2020, and you can see this grammar change. You can say, I have lived in Australia for 3 years, but I have never tried surfing, okay? So it's just, I'm just trying to give you an example of how I have never tried surfing is clearly talking about, this experience. I have never had this experience. But to say I have never tried surfing without there, or no, sorry, to say I never tried surfing when I lived in Australia, it's about that specific time period where this moment when someone lived from 2015 until 2018 in Australia. We ask have you ever questions to know if someone has had an experience or not, right? And this word ever is about the idea that you're not sure. Actually, the word ever has two meanings, right? The first one is about like in questions. Usually when the idea of you're not sure. For example, have you ever seen Titanic, right? But if you take two different contexts, for example, let's take two different movies. And let's take one movie that's really popular and in the cinema now. So what's an example of a movie in the cinema right now? Like Star Wars, the new Star Wars is in the cinema now. And I can ask, for example, have you seen Star Wars? For example, if I ask a friend of mine, and I'm pretty sure, like there's a really good possibility that I think that person went to see the cinema, and I ask them, have you seen it? Kind of like my expectation, because I'm surer, right? My certainty is more. But when you ask that question, like, have you ever seen Star Wars? That's really the idea. I'm not sure. I'm not so clear. The second thing about the word ever is really about like emphasis. You can see sentences like, it's the best movie ever, right? It was the best job I have ever had. And this is just really giving like special emphasis or just special meaning, you know? You have never ever seen the Titanic? why is everyone asking about the Titanic? Yeah, I don't know. It's just because it's the one movie that everybody has heard of, Victoria. If I start talking about like the weird movies I watch, I mean, nobody has heard of them, and I try to explain what they are. So everybody knows what it is. It's just a point of reference. So when we start to use when, why, where, these WH questions, now this is much more specific questions, right? Now our grammar changes, right? So for example, if I ask you, have you ever been to Australia? Like for example, Victoria or Lloyd in the group, I can ask them now, have you ever been to Australia? I have no idea. I have no clue if Victoria or Lloyd have been to Australia. But let's say I ask Lloyd and Lloyd says yes. And I start to ask more specific questions. I ask Lloyd, well, when did you go there? Where did you visit in Australia? Why did you go there? Right? So you go from this general not sure place of like, have you ever been there? I'm not sure, maybe yes, maybe no. And when the person says yes, now you want to ask more specific questions. You change your grammar from have you ever been, present perfect, to past simple, did you, where did you, why did you? Okay? Does that make sense? Does that make any sense at all? Have you ever been to Australia? Yes, I have. Well, probably the next question in a normal conversation is, well, when, why, where did you go there, right? So let's say, for example, I lived in Australia for 3 years, right? And it's very important that you use past simple if it's something in the past that's completely over. For example, 2015, 2018, I lived in Australia. In my case, for example, in 2008, I lived in Barcelona, okay? And it's the difference between saying if it's a time, like a specific time period or not. Because when using that past simple with the 2008, or it's over, I can't go back. I can't be, 22 again and go live in Barcelona. Just can't happen. So we have to use past simple. Okay. So these are the moments when you ask more specific questions. Like, when did you live in Australia? Oh, well, I lived in Australia from 2015 until 2018. One of your students is in Australia now. Studying, is it? Cool. Did you ever try surfing when you lived there? No, I never tried surfing when I lived there. And that crucial word when here is like an anchor, really like a point of reference to say like, okay, are we saying exactly when or not, So ways to answer are sort of, have you ever tried surfing? You can say, yes, I have, or no, I haven't, or I have never tried surfing, right? So we are focused on the experience itself, and we just did that out there. We don't know when exactly, or we're not interested. So that moment where you ask someone, have you ever, you don't know yet if it happened or not, and you're going to ask more questions. I mean, sushi here, for example, I have tried sushi. I'm not a fan. I like it in moderation. But if you imagine the following conversation, if you're asking someone, talking to someone, you ask, have you ever tried sushi? Yes, I have tried sushi before. The next natural question is, where did you try it? And you say, I tried it at a Japanese restaurant last year, okay? So I have tried it before. We'll be sort of talking about experience. We don't know exactly when. I tried it yesterday. See, when you see that time word or that time marker, actually I want to do another class just about kind of time markers, like specifically, we use specific words, sort of this morning, today, for sort of present perfect. I have done this today or whatever, or this week or this month. When you use words like last month, last year, yesterday, it's much more specific, and that's usually one way to establish do you use present perfect or past simple. Is just looking at which time words, what words are you using to express time, Have you ever seen Iron Man? No, I have never seen it. Or I saw it last year in the cinema, right? So just showing again, just more sort of examples. And you can see here, for example, I have been there before, and the I have can change to I've. So it's the teeth here at the top, like biting down. I've been there before. Let me check the time. How we're doing for time? Okay, we're all right. And again, talking about like the time words, you can say I was there last month, but the real mistakes happen. And I remember when I worked with Polish speakers in a hotel, it's in my small town where I am now. Actually, there's a hotel. It's called the Mill Park, and I worked there for years, washing dishes on the restaurant. And I remember one Polish guy, Marcin, he was learning English, and he was really, really confused. Like, what's the difference between I was and I have been there? This is 10 or 11 or 12 years ago, maybe. So I had no idea at the time. It's like, wow, I don't know. But here I want everybody to come away from this class understanding clearly that, for example, if someone asks you, have you ever been to London, whatever, you cannot respond saying I never was there. You have to say I have never been there, right? But you could say I was there last month, I was there last year, when you're giving more information about the time and the specifics. Warm sushi. Oh wait, you're talking to Victoria. Okay, I'll come back to. So it's curious. Some languages use the present perfect too much. Some languages never use it. Spanish from Spain, we use the equivalent of present perfect a lot. Italian uses it all the time. Brazilians almost never use it. The Polish or Russian, Slovakian and other languages like that use it. Other people use it in different ways. But a simple rule is that we cannot use present perfect with a specific time or a time in the past with no connection to now, all right? For example, the classic mistake you can see in red here is something like I have watched a movie last night. And French is a really good example where they use the equivalent of present perfect all the time, and it would be perfectly correct in their language, in French, for example, to say, you know, I watched a movie last night. I have watched a movie last night, but the correct version is I watched a movie, right? Or we arrived this morning at 9 a.m. So when you're looking at this sort of grammar, you need to start looking for clues about when, you know. You can see here in these two examples, you got last night and at 9 a.m., right? So they're very clearly, if you can't use present perfect in this case because it is too specific. You say, I watched a movie last night, right? When talking about your experiences, use present perfect. I have been to Spain 7 times. That's a lie. That's a lie. I've been to Spain maybe 25 times. I used to live there, right? Or I have read all the Harry Potter books, right? That's also a lie. I have never read Harry Potter. When talking about your experiences in the negative, you can say I have never been to America or I've never been to America. But the incorrect response here is to say I never was there, okay? And I hope that's clear. If it's not clear, please let me know, right? So I've never tried sushi or I've never seen Star Wars. Not using the past simple in this case when you're responding to a have you ever question, okay? The open time talks about closed time as well. Talking about sort of present perfect can be used to talk about your experiences when you are still alive, right? As in me, I am still alive now, right? And I have never met Lloyd in person, right? But Lloyd and I are both still alive. And hopefully Lloyd is coming to England next summer. And I want to go. I want to go make videos and meet Lloyd, hopefully, right? But if it was someone who died, for example, you past simple, right? And it's just because it's that open time and closed time. But I think we'll have time to discuss that. Bantha, can I use there? I never was there when someone accuses us. X is you testimony out there. Yeah, exactly. In this case, Bantha, yes, you could. You could say I never was there, but just that phrase on its own, I never was there, it's not enough, right? You just, a native speaker will never say I was never there, or will we say there? I was never there. Yeah, if it was clear, because from the context or from the questions, if a person was asking you, were you there on the night there was a murder, or were you in this place at this time? Because they're asking you a very specific question. You say, I was never there. I was never at that house. So yes, you can, if the question is a did you question. Does that make sense, Bantha? Yeah, Victoria, come to England. Come to Sara Garlimberti. Welcome back. Haven't seen you for a while, right? Just a quick note about the form, right? Have and a noun. We have time, we don't have time. Have and a verb is you have seen it, you have not seen it, have you seen it, right? So the really important point is to look at the negative. So we don't have, if you have a noun or a thing after have. And then if it's a verb, you will use not, the negative, and then change the word order. Have you seen it, all right? So just a quick review. Have you ever seen Game of Thrones? Have you guys ever seen Game of Thrones? English TV Live meetup. I think England's a good place for an English TV Live meetup. If we all had a big meetup, we're gonna like go and meet together for a weekend or something. I think it's the place in the middle that's closest to everyone. I am going to England next summer for sure anyway. But just a quick review of this class of like, have you ever seen Game of Thrones? Ever? The person asking is not sure, right? You have these moments, these questions. It's not always have you ever, but if I ask you, for example, do you go to McDonald's? And then if I ask, do you ever go to McDonald's? Almost just in my tone of voice or my intonation, you can hear a difference of like, do you go to McDonald's? Do you ever go to McDonald's? You can hear in the second one, I'm not sure. I'm not so clear, all right? Have you ever seen Game of Thrones? So the idea is, in all of the time a person was born, between that time and now, with a have you ever question, I want to know, have you had that experience or not, right? Have you ever tried sushi? Have you ever been to London, all right? How to answer? Sorry, I'm very sorry, I have to edit this. These slides actually from a course I make courses for Brazilians. I'm actually a specialist in teaching Brazilians. And these are some slides, and some of the words are in Portuguese, so sorry about that. How to answer? You can say yes I have or no I haven't. Yes I have seen. Yes I've seen. So all of you should be training that pronunciation of I have to I've. So it's I've, we've, you've, they've. And then he is, or she is, or she's seen, okay? I've tried it, I've seen it, or no, I haven't tried it, or I've never tried it, I've never seen it, all right? Okay, dun, 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 dun. Okay, that's it for this class, I think, guys, because I think my slides are kind of finished, but I definitely want to go and see, do you guys have any questions? Because if you come at 4:30, I'm going to do a special online quiz with you guys. But let's just see if you guys have any big questions now that I can go through quickly. So, quick question. And was that clear, guys? Was that new information? Was that old information? Is there anything you're not so sure about? I'm just checking the comments now to see. Because there's a lot of comments I missed. I have lived in my hometown for years. I've never visited the most touristy museum. Patricia, yeah, the same thing has happened to me. I have never been to one or two of the small museums in my town. Okay, I'm just trying to find anyone's questions. Questions. I have eaten, I have flown. Maria came to visit, and Victoria as well. It was super clear. It's been a refresher. It's been refreshing. Sorry. It's been super clear. Okay. Finally, you run too fast. Do I go too quickly, Sergio? Is that the problem? All right, guys. Take it easy. Take care. I'm going to post the slides. I promise I'm going to post the slides immediately after now. If there's any questions at all, please. Felt asleep is wrong to use. I didn't get it. Fell, fall, fallen. To fall asleep. So I fall asleep slowly, personally. That's present tense. I fell asleep. Be present simple. And then I have fallen asleep, right? It has to sink in yet. Time will prove it. Okay, just quick questions. If there are two sentences like the following without any context, how do they differ in meaning? I've had a shower, I had a shower. How do they differ in... Well, my first question is, how are those sentences ever, like, I mean, without context? I had a shower, I've had a shower. Well, let's look at that, all right. This is actually mostly going to be talking about next week, but let's just quickly look at this together. I remember I got this question before. Camera in corner. All right. So let me see the two questions together. I had a shower. I have had a shower. All right. So this is the I have had a shower. Irregular verbs. Okay, yes. Yes, Dad. Actually, I have a document about irregular verbs I really want to share with you guys. But let me come back here to Sara Gilamberti. So, the difference is, what's the difference between I had a shower and I've had a shower, right? So, the difference here in context would be, let's put two situations, right? One situation, you are chatting with your friend about you're chatting with your friend and you ask, what did you do last night, right? Hey, how's it going, da da da. So that's one situation, right? Then situation two, you are coming let's see, you are I can't type fast enough. You are going to let's see, what's a good that's a concert. You're going to a concert with your husband or boyfriend. I don't know if you're married, Sarah. This is just to get there, right? But you're going to a husband, your concert, your boyfriend, and your boyfriend comes home and asks, are you ready? You say, yes, I've already had a shower, right? So let's take the two situations. One is you're just chatting casually to your friend. Say, so what did you do last night? And the person says, oh, not much. I had a shower and I went to sleep. All right. So, hey, how are you? What did you do last night? Oh, not much. I just put this here. I had a shower and went to sleep. All right. And let's imagine the other situation here where your boyfriend comes home and you guys are maybe a little bit like kind of late. And you guys like, hey, are you ready? Are you ready to go? Yes, I've already had a shower and got changed, right? So let's just take the two situations. Let's put them sort of side by side, right? Let's take the two answers and put them side by side. If we have this one, I'll put this somewhere else, sorry. I had a shower and I went to sleep. Yes, I've already had a shower and got changed. Now, this one here, I had a shower. This is the first situation where your two friends are just chatting, right? What did you do last night? I had a shower and went to sleep, right? No consequence on now, right? When someone says, I had a shower and went to sleep, oh, well, so what? Great. No connection to now, no consequence to me, doesn't change anything for me, and I just continue with my life. well, you had a shower last night. Great. So what, you know? But if you imagine that you're coming home and Sarah is waiting out there, and your boyfriend or husband, I'm just guessing, I don't know, I'm just making this up, right? And you say, yes, I've already had a shower and got changed. This is connected to now, it'd be like a result on the present. Because if you say, yes, I've already had a shower and got changed, this means that my present moment is sort of changed. It means, okay, right, we can go now. If the answer is negative, no, I haven't had a shower. I haven't had a shower yet. Well, you know, the consequences are you can't go yet, right? But you say like, yes, I've already had a shower and got changed. Yes, we can go. So, yes, please download Zoom before you can, because it takes a while to make it work. I've had a shower. My hair is still wet. Yeah, that would be. Do they suggest different ideas? Did you have a? All right. Okay. Damn irregular verbs. Okay. I hope that answers your question. But I'm gonna close this class now. And if you have any more sort of questions, I hope this that cleared up your basic doubt. But Sarah, please don't worry. Next week, the basics of your question about like what's the difference when I had it and I have had it, I'm gonna go deep into that next week about the result on the present and this kind of stuff. This is just more of an introduction, so don't worry, be patient, and we'll get there. All right. So I think we'll okay. Sounds like that is very clean indeed. All right. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Thanks for watching. I hope you had fun. I'm going to post the slides now as soon as I click off for the live button, as in like end live video. That's the name of my button. And I will see you guys in about 15 minutes in the Zoom class, where we're going to have a quiz and a speaking activity all about practicing this present perfect stuff. Okay, guys, see you there. Oh wait, close, cancel.